Yeah, I know. Base is dropped. I'm late, and it's because I had to go upstairs and get a soda to fill out my glass because the resident 2 liter that's usually here didn't have enough to fill up the glass, so I had to actually go into the kitchen and get reinforcements. So that's why we're 2 minutes late. So yeah, I blame me. So feel free to blame me as much as you want. Dell's got his 6 mile run done. Dell, I might do that in a day and a half.
Mm,
Yeah, basically. Far more
no.
ambitious than I am. Yeah, butter. I'm sorry. The butter conversation
No,
has not
no,
changed my point of view about butter and coffee at all. Just
no, but the more and more people I've seen talk about it, the more I'm like, okay, yeah, it's just something I had never heard before. But yeah,
yeah,
more power to them if it's doing the job for them.
yeah,
Again, I don't drink coffee at all, so I leave that to the coffee drinkers to tell me whether it's good or bad.
right.
Because you could put damn near anything in coffee, I'm not going to drink it.
No,
Um, so yeah, more power to them, man.
yeah, and I'm still waiting for the international nightmare to end, so we know who actually this was that does the whole slab of oleo in the coffee. I mean, I'm literally still
I feel
waiting.
like some of us are going to find out, and we're going to be sworn to secrecy about it, though.
That might be true. Yeah, that might be true. So, John here, Jarrett there. Traditionally on Wednesdays for Wall Pass Wednesday, Jarrett is a short timer, so we're going to go through all the hard hitting topics with Jarrett here. Morning, Alex. Morning, Pars. Dell wants to know if you can be mailed butter and coffee. Sure. I mean, it's not going to.
Maybe you. I mean,
Yeah.
you can mail it to me. Um, I'm just going to find someone who wants it and give it to them. So really, you're just mailing it to someone else with extra steps.
Hmm.
But I'll find someone who wants it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
We can always
I
find
worked
Guinea.
with a when I worked in traffic, we had a traffic reporter, a very boisterous and loud and energetic one, John,
No,
who
gee, that never
uh,
happened.
who was partially deaf at this point of his career, who would drink Death Wish coffee.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh no.
yeah,
Mm,
and that
mm.
was Death Wish coffee is like it's like opening your veins.
It is exactly that.
Um,
There's a reason
it's
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 called
just a
that.
yeah. He apparently saw it on a Super Bowl ad one year. Like this was like 2015, 2016, and he's like, I'm gonna give me some of that. And so, like 2 weeks later, I show up at work, and in the break room there is a bag of Death Wish ground coffee. Like, okay, just grinding up rocket fuel for a Saturn V rocket and putting it in your bloodstream.
Oh man. It's a Wall Pass Wednesday, so anything's on the table, and by that we mean anything. And like I said, figure since Jarrett's here and he's only here for a short period of time, we're going to go through all of the real hard hitting stuff early on, and we'll start off. I guess let's kind of go through the traffic here. Busiest man in show business. Hopefully, Dylan Butler can join us at 10 o'clock. We'll talk about Major League Soccer transactions. Uh, Once again, Inter Messi and friends bringing in Redondo, all the signings, all the stuff. If Dylan can join us at 10 o'clock, we got to talk about what happened last night, the high school match of the week. It was an experience to say the very least, and we'll bring in Matty Cruz on the ones and twos to talk about that. There's literally you've got news from Champions League. You've got news from uh, all the op-ed pieces that traditionally appear in the middle of the week, and all the fluffy featurey things where you sit there and it's like that guy actually said that. Now I know why they, in the land of clicks and garnering interest, they interviewed this person because of the outlandish things that they say. So we had a couple of instances of those as well, and pretty much anything that is on the table on your mind. And yes, we are going to talk about today. And the boss, when she left the casa and was heading into work, literally said to me, and this is how he treated, she says, "Happy Amateur Day." So we're going to talk about today in the sense of how you handle it and how you have handled it and what it means and all these kinds of things. So yeah, it might get into the mushy, but we'll see. So all right, the hard hitting stuff that we're getting into with Jarrett, and it starts off. Then we can thank Chris Hutchison for this. And apparently now, according to our friends at BBC Scotland, bagpipes will be allowed inside the stadia in Euro 2024.
So here's the thing about any musical instrument that has ever existed. Um, any musical instrument that has ever existed can be used to make a melodious, beautiful sound, and can find keys, can operate efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
It can also be used to create hell on earth. Um,
Yes.
just go like you want like a quick rendition of this? Go watch the prom scene from Back to the Future, where he's playing Earth Angel and he's like forgets how to play because his dad's getting rejected in the prom, and then he remembers how to play. If you can find any instrument that can make a beautiful sound, or it can create an imaginary tenth circle of hell on this realm.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about bagpipes is it has the smallest delta between those two. Um, the path from beautiful folk music to oh God, make the bleeding stop
Yes.
is a much smaller path with bagpipes than it is with almost any other musical instrument. Um, so yes, the potential here is mind-numbingly hilarious. I know it was compared to the vuvuzelas by Chris, but the bagpipes have the potential for maybe not as loud of chaos, but somehow like a more disturbing form of chaos.
Yes.
I do love bagpipes, but again, you have to know what you're doing with them to get the right sound out of them.
Yes. That is absolutely true.
And after a couple pints of alcohol in the second half of a Euro game where Scotland's losing 2-1,
Yeah.
man, they're going to invent some scales we didn't know existed
No, that's true.
and should have stayed hidden.
Yeah. You'll find notes that you didn't know existed because of the creative elements of folks who have had a little liquid courage, and
Mm-hmm.
if you want to call it liquid investigation of musical scales. That's pretty much
Yes,
how.
a gentleman is someone who knows how to play the bagpipes and blow.
Yeah.
um, but it's appropriate location in the sense that bagpipes should be played in an open area.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's really you can't like with a violin you can put a mute on a violin. Like I still have for mine. I still have a full bridge mute. Like you can have a small mute for a violin. Um, it's about the size of a penny. It's a
Right.
big piece of rubber. You put it over the bridge, and what it does is it stops some of the vibration and mutes the sound of it a bit. I have a full bridge mute on mine for when I play in the house, and what it does is it really stops the vibration. It's still make noise, obviously, but it's going to kind of dull out that sound. It's nicer for playing in an enclosed space.
Mm-hmm.
Bagpipes don't really mute.
No.
I,
No, they
I,
don't.
I, my dream of this though is that like Scotland jumps out to like a 2-0 lead in one of these games, and somebody just turns into Bird Parker. Someone
Oh.
just goes full Charlie Parker at the Reno and just pulls out a set of bagpipes with a 2-0 lead in like the 73rd minute. And someone just starts trying to hit the solo from the Reno. If you've ever heard Charlie Bird Parker play that solo, um, it's one of the most just awe-inspiring, insane solos you've ever heard on a saxophone. I want someone to try that because then I want like, God, who are they playing? God, I forget who they're playing in the group stages. I want whoever they're playing to have to sit there and be like, we're down 2-0 to this team. We got 20 minutes left, and someone has just decided to start recreating the movie Whiplash on bagpipes. That's what I want.
Let's see. All right. So the Euro group breakdown. So you're looking for Scotland's opponents in group plays. What you're looking for. You have
Pretty sure they have Germany.
Germany, Hungary, and Switzerland. You're a part of Group A.
Yeah. It'd be funniest. Germany is the funniest option here, just because Germany's been like, you know, so inept for an
Yeah.
extended period of time now. Like and inept in the funniest ways at the funniest possible times from a neutral perspective. Not
Thank you.
funny for like a friend of the program, Johannes, who
Yes.
is German, who
Yeah.
has been suffering with this team and suffering with Bayern
Think
Munich.
think like
Um,
Benny Hill yakety sax sketch kind of material.
yeah, the funniest solution, the funniest outcome here is like Germany down 2-0 to Scotland in the 70th minute, and someone just starts going off on a set of bagpipes
Yep.
in the 200 section, and even the players start like, what? What is that?
Yeah.
No, it's not human.
No, it's not.
Don't know what that is. Damn.
Okay.
Also,
Not a
yeah, they're not
surprise.
going to be easy to carry in. Like, you don't just pack. What do you do? Like, throw the bagpipes over your shoulder and just stuff them under your arm and carry them, and just the click clacking of the wood. Um, this is not going to be graceful. It's going to be amazing, though. It's exactly what I needed in my day.
Yes. So we have an update from Dylan. Dylan has a sick youngin at home, so he is being the doting dad today. So he's going to be missing all of this insightful conversation that we're having this morning. That we're already off to a fantastic start. But that's what Wallpass
No.
Wednesdays are all about.
To Barzable's point, you can cork the drones on the bagpipe and only hear that.
Okay.
Even better. Well, don't cork them in the stadium, please.
No.
I don't know. I don't know how much the corking would help. Don't do it. Just if it's the middle of the match and you start doing this, I need like fortissimo. Like I need when we pull out the sheet music and I see you playing, I need to look underneath your sheet music and I need to see 3 Fs.
Uh-huh.
I need you to just I need you to come like blowing out a lung when you're doing this. Also, yes, enough of you I see have also been traumatized by the movie Whiplash.
Yes.
Great film,
Absolutely.
incredibly uncomfortable film.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
yeah.
Simmons was amazing in the movie.
Simmons
That's
was,
all you can really say.
the nicest thing I could have ever heard about him was somebody said, "Yeah, man, he's great because in between takes, he just was the nicest person on earth to offset just being the most uncomfortable director we've ever most uncomfortable band director in
Yes.
recorded history."
Absolutely.
Man, yeah, just please let bagpipes loose at in the middle of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, show up at the England game. Hell,
Oh,
Scotland doesn't have to be playing. Just show up, just to piss them off.
yeah.
Just do it.
And play all of your lovely songs. So that would be Slovenia, Denmark, and Serbia in Group C to be paired with England.
Oof. Also, all of this is happening because like Scotland went and won the damn group. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was still the dumbest part of all of this is that like Scotland went and won their group to get here in the first place. That
Yes.
included beating Norway
Mm-hmm.
and like Spain coming in second.
Yep. So let's see. Abby is in this morning, and Rich is in this morning. We can talk about the prices of kits too. Apparently, the kit launch is coming in 2 hours. But the hook in all of this for Scotland fans to be taking bagpipes inside stadia in Euro 2024. So, Jared, it doesn't just have to be, as you said, it doesn't just have to be for Scotland group stage matches. You can take bagpipes, whatever. It was, and the governing body has said
they're going to go in there and play Flower of Scotland during God Save the King too.
Absolutely.
They're going to make this as sacrilegious as humanly possible.
Oh yeah, you open that window and you give the chance for it to happen. The governing body has said the instruments will be permitted as long as they are registered with the SFA. So the match that starts their tournament is Germany, June 14th. Match is going to be played at Allianz in Munich, but a prohibited items list for the stadium warned fans to avoid bringing mechanical or electronic noisemakers such as megaphones and air horns. It also banned other sound-emitting speech amplification devices, listing P-whistles and vuvuzelas as examples. But at a meeting of the fan forum last week, which brought together all of the teams' fans that qualified for the tournament, they decided that the pipes would be approved. They added the process of registering the instruments, and that would be communicated with the FA in due course. Spokesperson for UEFA. Fans are welcome to bring instruments to the stadium, but they will have to register them with their respective national associations who will be responsible for centralizing their fans' activities inside the stadium. Ian Emerson, editor of the famous Tartan Army magazine, said that the bagpipes could lift the team, adding fans could create a party atmosphere when the tournament kicks off. So that's what you're
Scotland
sharing.
fans don't need an excuse to party, though. They've been so beaten down for the last 40 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll take any excuse. They don't need a lot.
Yes.
Like we're not talking about a big push here for them. We're talking about like look at them funny and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Not in a fighting way, but
no.
in a party way.
Yes.
Also, yeah, at Bardsville, it gets worse for me. My daughter heard bagpipes and has decided she wants to learn them, and so now we're like carefully negotiating what she can and can't do. Because I don't know how to set
Yes.
up bagpipes, nor do I intend to anytime soon. My daughter though thinks they're pretty nifty, and I'm gonna have to like kind of renegotiate that one. Of you already got like the penny whistle from school,
Mm-hmm.
which is I have come and I knew I was going to have this rite of passage as a parent that my
Yeah.
child was going to bring home a recorder / penny whistle. I knew that was going to happen. Bagpipes are a different negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
That is an entirely different piece of paper that we have to negotiate with. And my favorite thing about this entire discussion, John, to all
Yeah.
those instruments,
Yeah.
someone just surely specifically said, hey, we can't bring this, you can't bring all these things. That means someone specifically went, hey man, what about bagpipes?
Uh-huh.
Like they specifically said, hey, give me an answer on bagpipes
Yeah.
because you know, we Amazing Grace and Scotland the Brave are not going to play themselves,
No.
amongst other things.
No.
We're gonna get like you want to get really you want to get deep with it is eventually get to the point where you have like somebody do it over here and just have somebody with bagpipes playing Appalachian murder ballads. All of a sudden, someone starts playing Knoxville Girl on bagpipes. This is the future I want for America.
Hey, that's what we're here for. The discussion in this particular topic once again does not disappoint. And yeah, Pars is mentioning corking the drone, so you only hear the notes. And let's see, what was the other? Yeah, Pars said that Jarrett, your bagpipes only have 2 volumes, 1 in the case and 2 playing, so you'll always get the triple Fs. And so Pars is saying just start with a practice chanter as a part of all of this. So these kinds of hard-hitting subjects are always part of opening kickoff. Brought to us by our friends brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee, kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code that Abby did that's far better than anything I could have ever done. So that's your QR code once again, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee. You hit that QR code. You order your Kickoff Coffee to kick off your day. Use the code SoccerDownHere15. You get 15% off your purchase. They, in turn, take 10% reinvested in youth games, youth initiatives, cool stuff that they have earmarked. And that is right there, the QR code for our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Traditionally, Wednesdays are almost like an entire show of opening kickoffs because of all the stories that are there, the stuff that we've not had the chance to take out of the fridge in the plastic bag. You know, the pizza's gotten another day older, but you still, as the bachelor, you sit there and you go, maybe 30 seconds and I won't eat the crust and everything will still be fine. So all of the stories that we haven't hit, anything on your mind, seriously, anything. And yes, we're going to talk about today and handling today and what it means and how you do it. And I'll pull back the curtain, no problem. The boss and I will discuss. We always do these kinds of things anyway. So we celebrate it 365 days a year. And there goes Jarrett for the Irish goodbye. All right, so let's talk about last night. And last night was one of the more interesting experiences that we've had in calling matches. And it's all a part of the matches of the week at this point, brought to us by our friends at Kaiser Permanente, presenting sponsor, and also brought to us by our friends at Subaru of Gwinnett, and a lot of folks who are jumping in to be a part of the broadcasts on the soccer side of things, on the high school side, with the Tuesday night throwdown brought to us by KP and Subaru of Gwinnett and our friends at Reaver by Hard Rock, the hotel across the street from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We ended up with some new sponsors also last night, and thanks for being a part of the process here. So this is where we bring in Maddie Cruz on the ones and twos for her first visit of the day. And Maddie, you got to call the match last night between Clarkston and McIntosh, and it was, Clarkston and McIntosh, 2 great programs. They always make runs into the playoffs. How would you rate the broadcast experience that you and Jason had last night with this match, outside of the match in and of itself? How would you rate what happened last night?
Well, taking the cold outside of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would give it an 8. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun night. It was very unexpected things went down. Obviously, want to again give a big thoughts and prayers and recovery to Mateo for Clarkston.
Yep.
He went down an injury. An ambulance was brought in. He seems to be okay from what we heard last night, that he was talking, making jokes. Everything was all good, but praying for a swift recovery for him. That way he can get back into a senior season with Clarkston, getting all that going through. But both of those sides are very, very talented. And their division is going to have to watch out for both those clubs. It's going to be very fun to watch.
Yep. Clarkston and head coach Hugh Broderick, 17 seniors, I think, on their roster, and a lot of faces that Coach Broderick has played ever since they were freshmen and sophomores. And it is a fantastic story. Mostly immigrant population that's there, and taking the United Nations basically of soccer and putting it into one roster and navigating all of that. And he does a fantastic job. The squad does a fantastic job, and the staff does a fantastic job every single year in uniting all of these folks for being able to express themselves on the pitch. So it's a great story, and I would recommend following the Clarkston program just for the value of what they're able to bring from all of these different cultures into one team setting. So it's always great to catch up with them. And McIntosh, they've won like 74 national championships, top ranked ever since Columbus crossed over and James Oglethorpe was being part of the colonization of the state of Georgia back in the 1700s. McIntosh has been that talented, that deep, and been around for that long a program at the top of their game. Brian Messer coached last night. He was the interim last night because Bunky Colvin had to serve a suspension from last season's last match in the playoffs against Midtown. But it was great to see Bunky, great to see everybody down there at McIntosh. And McIntosh, when you got all the graduations that happen, Maddie, you're going to have that first match where you're trying to figure out, okay, yeah, I've still got a lot of juniors and seniors. It's their turn, but it's also your first match of the year. And that showed at times last night as they were trying to grow into the game and grow into their season.
Yeah, it was very much a soccer game keen on mistakes. A lot of McIntosh's goals stemmed from Clarkston's mistakes. Likewise, the other way around. A lot of the chances that Clarkston had were because of silly mistakes where a touch was just a little too powerful or it was a little too soft that allowed a player to run back up in and snag the ball. I mean, it was a growing pain for both of these sides. Obviously we had the delay because we had the transportation issue. So that was a big factor. That's why the game got pushed back. Then, it was just growing into the game. And I think once both teams really grew into it, it was a very, very competitive and very good game. Like I was sitting up there a couple times, forgetting I was calling the game. I was like, Jason was over there, doing all the stuff for play-by-play. And I was sitting over there just watching. I was like, this is fun.
Yeah, it is. It's two fun programs when they get to express themselves. And we are early in our 28 match location schedule. Tuesday night throwdown, Clarkston and McIntosh. We have on Thursday, I think it's going to be Jason and Drew Dickinson. It's going to be Carrollton at Johns Creek, just the one match because JL Man backed out. JL Man out of South Carolina, traditional power over there in South Carolina. They backed out of this particular matchup. So Carrollton has now come in, going to be one game on Thursday. And then Friday is where the fun starts because we're going to be in two places at once. Chapel Hill and Alexander, just the varsity boys game will be on the air, and that'll be on SDH Socials. So set your notifications to figure out where you can watch, listen, what have you. It might be a situation like we do with the morning show where it'll be Twitch, Twitter, etc. for that because we're doing Blast-Off Battle Friday and Sunday in Huntsville, the kickoff tournament there. The preview show will be out tonight, and we're going to catch up with folks from each of the four teams, players in this case, and we'll get their thoughts about getting into the seasons. We're going to have some folks that are going to be discussing things from a coaching perspective, and so it's going to be fun to be able to break all of this down. Blast-Off Battle preview is tonight, and the other games that we have on the grid this week. So we're going to be all over the place. We'll be in Huntsville, and we'll be here doing games. So no, it's going to be it's a fun sprint. And the fact that I was doing the math while we were talking about it, and the fact that we were in 28 different locations for the regular season, doing games on Tuesdays, Fridays, and other match days of the week. Very, very cool. It is a grid of grids, and where I'm trying to talk to athletic directors. But no, it was a great matchup last night. And Maddie, as always, well, first off, I guess, when did you get home? I think that's probably the next question.
Ooh, I'm trying to remember. I think it was around 12 a.m. So not too bad.
Okay.
Not too bad. I got back and I, searched back on my social medias, see what I missed, and then I went to bed. So we had an early morning this morning. And so it's testing. I will say this has been testing. I've always been like early riser, but for the past like year or so, I've been like slowly like inching away towards it. And I think that like the morning shows helped me kind of get back into the groove of waking up early.
No, you don't want that.
But I will say this morning was very, very hard to wake up.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, I think I ended up falling asleep about 2, and so it was a bit of an adventure getting up this morning. And so yes, it is a heavy fuel morning. But no, I just wanted to, for your first appearance today, I wanted to get you to reminisce a little bit about 2 very cool programs coming at it from 2 different directions, 2 different classifications. And it was a win for McIntosh last night in their first match of the year. So obviously we'll be bringing you back in hour number 2 to talk about stuff. That's the official title.
Absolutely.
All right. So Maddie's going to probably drink coffee behind my back or something and do some, caffeine and things like that. And so we'll bring Maddie back a little later to discuss things, official term. And in hour number 2, also, since Dylan Butler's not going to be with us, we're going to catch up with Rod Underwood from Chattanooga FC. We caught up with Coach as a part of the Blast Off Battle preview, and then so it was good to catch up with Coach. We've done some stuff with Chattanooga FC in the past, gone up to games, covered press conferences. They're in a new league this year. They're moving from NISA to MLS Next Pro. So we caught up a little bit about that. And so we'll have those other topics and conversations that we get into with Rod. And so we'll catch up with Rod in hour number 2, and we will discuss anything and everything Chattanooga FC in about 8.5 minutes. And so it's a really cool conversation that we had with Rod. And so it will be very, very cool to hear that conversation with Rod Underwood, and we'll catch up with him and discuss what's going on with Blast Off Battle and all those other kinds of things. So very, very cool stuff with him that we have as a part of today. Yes, we are going to discuss today and all of its aspects and all of the things that are attached to it. And so, yeah, we'll get into that today too. And once again, thanks to everybody who's chimed in this morning. We'll go back over comments and everything. Once again, Wall Pass Wednesday, so pretty much everything is on the table. Anything and everything's on the table. And so we'll go back into the early rounds of comments, and whatever else is on your mind this morning, we'll discuss. So no, we just the whole thing about butter and coffee. I still can't get over that. Welcome to the addiction. Pars, by the way. Pars has gotten into Topps MLS. And as I told him in the timeline, I said, welcome to the addiction. And it will be, okay. So just to give you an idea. And this is, I for the longest time have been a card collector. And the way that it is with me, I am, with my baseball cards, I'm trying to reclaim everything from like 1980 back, or 1980 backward, because that was the time of the Great Schism. That was when Fleer and Donruss and Upper Deck, they all joined in and they all were a part of it. So I'm a Topps guy in baseball, and I try to go back as far as I can. And that's like pre-1980, that's where I'm working. and it doesn't really matter how obscure it is. I'm the guy that's got the NFL Europe and the World League of American Football cards and those kinds of things. So, Pars, just to give you an idea of what kind of things I collect, and I have them here at the desk. This was something that I picked up. I think I picked this up on eBay, and to show you how dangerous this is, I'm going into and literally it was right here to show you where things are here in the office. Diving into the desk, and I have here in my hand the 1990 Pacific Trading Cards Major Indoor Soccer League set. I literally have it right here. That's how demented I am when it comes to collecting these things. I've got the World Cup set in the 94 cards. I have that in the closet behind me. The ones that we used to pick up at like Richway and Target and things like that. But yeah, the 1990 Pacific Trading Cards Major Indoor Soccer League set. I have that here at my desk. I collect pins too, but I'm not as, pin heavy as I used to be. And if it is, it's Olympic stuff. I don't know if I can say that. We might have just gotten in trouble and gotten dumped off the air. Here at the desk, there's Wisconsin Estate Solutions, by the way. They're the bane of my financial existence because every single month they have a pre-1980s card auction, and I end up losing my mind. This is the kind of stuff I have here at the desk. Rich, you'll be happy. Tony Taylor, 1969 Topps, right here. So this is what I have here at the desk, and this is a small sample of that. Rich will go back even further. Paul LaPalma, pitcher for the Pirates, 1953, right here. So that's what I've got. This is my addiction. It always has been, but now that I am of an adulting age, I always now am going back to pre-1980s and going into auctions and things like that, and trying to bulk my way back up. I'll get all the common cards and be fine with it, and then if I win the lottery, then I'll grab like the 1950s and 60s stars and things like that, those cards that cost an absolute fortune. Definitely can't afford those. But what I will do is I will build my collection $2.50 at a time. That I will do all day. So welcome to the addiction. Welcome to the addiction. That's all I can say, Pars. Legitimately, that's all I can say. You're I mean, man, I get into so much trouble. I set limits. I'm like the Jamie Foxx commercial on what we see on Sundays during football season. I'm literally like, set your limits. Don't spend more than you can afford. That's me. I'm the problem. It's me. So, I mean, it's, boy. Yeah, Abby's a pin collector right there. Alex, sicko.gif. Dell, collect World Club scarves and jerseys. I do that too. The more obscure, the better. And as you can tell by here in Office HD, it's like, I go on the road. I see something cool. Traditionally, wherever I've gone to do a story, I'll grab a hat, a T-shirt, and now it's into scarves and shower rods, reinforceable shower rods. That's where we are. Binder of 100-plus MLS cards, David. Major Indoor Soccer League. Okay. And so, yeah, this is where my life is. Literally, it is in the stories that I cover, reclaiming what I did when I was a kid, and talking to folks, like the stories that we do, like our friends at Sporting Club Jacks. Dell. What I have, actually, Dell, I have, let me see if I can adjust the camera. Abby's tried to decrease hats. No more scarves since the office is smaller than mine. Abby, I'm right there with you. We had to make executive decisions about planning, and that's why we have the train track here in the office. For those watching on the video version, Wednesday's show, traditional non sequitur. I have about 425 hats, and when we were building Office HD, the boss was like, "What do we do with the hats?" And I said, she was like, "Well, do we put a nail in the wall and we put a hat on each one?" And I said, that might get a little messy. So we brought in our MESSY. And we brought in our handyman, and he built this train track that is about a foot below the ceiling, and I can pyramid about 250 to 275 hats at any given time, and I can swap them out and do all that kind of stuff. So that's what I do with the hats. Yeah, they do get dusty, and so you got to kind of keep an eye on it. You know, and that's why you rotate them out, and you sit there and you do rub them clean when you're walking around. Michael, we only listen to you because we all not so secret. You don't want, Michael. I'm very humbled that you would say that. Oh, see, Tom, I'm gonna have to. I might. Early '90s is too soon for me. If you had '70s, we would talk. And the Mays and the Robinson from '56, we might have to talk. Oh, I absolutely, yeah. I know I can make bank on my memorabilia, Rich. And by the way, Rich mentioned in the Twitch pitch about the jersey sales, and the jerseys. We'll get into that because they're damn expensive. But no, to Dell's point and to Dell's question, Charleston Battery scarf. I'm going to turn the camera, so don't get seasick for those of you who are watching on the video version. And I hope that by showing cable TV, I'm not going to. All right. So over there, right-hand side of the screen, you see, Dell, do you see what I have right there? Dell, in the low right-hand corner, is one of my truly most prized possessions. It is a framed 25th anniversary team jersey from the Charleston Battery and the 25th anniversary scarf. And it's under glass. We, at the network, early in our days, we did the Charleston Battery Weekly show. And we would catch up with someone from the Battery. And we would traditionally, we would try to catch up with a coach, a player, and someone who worked on the staff would be like the B block. And you might know that individual, because she truly is one of the busiest people in show business, Poppy Miller. And so Poppy has golden ticket status here. And Poppy was on our Charleston Battery show every single week, talking about the week that was, going into the week that will be. And so literally it was like a coach or a player and Poppy. We would do a weekly show, and we did it during the 25th anniversary season. And it is a fully team signed, and I mean team, I mean administration all the way down. It is a team signed jersey and anniversary scarf under glass. So that is what I have from the Charleston Battery. And I also have the triple C scarf from year one, thanks to Robin Sagini. And so the triple C scarf is over there, and I've got to find a home for it here behind me. And so that's where we are. Tom still gets sick thinking about the thousands of cards from the childhood you had in the attic disappeared somewhere. And folks got, yep, right there with you. Late 60s and 70s. Yeah, Poppy's good people. And so, yeah, Poppy was part of our Charleston Battery Weekly show that we did on the network. And, Dell lost his most of the card collection in Hugo in '89. Oh, boy. Wow. Yeesh. Wow. Yeah, that's how this goes sometimes. They're in the attic. They're in the spokes of the wheels. Your mom says they're taking up too much space. She chucks them. I used to go out every Saturday morning when I was a kid. And my grandfather would drive me to various and different drugstores in the area. And I would get $5 to buy packs of cards of whatever season we're in: hockey, basketball, football, baseball. And what I would do is, and literally we would go to different stores all in the neighborhood. And absolutely. Yeah, I remember the gum on the cards. Absolutely, I do. Hardest stuff that destroyed your teeth ever known to man. And when people open packs today, and you still, like I remember I was watching something, I forget where it was, 1956 card, pack that got open from Topps, and the gum was still in it. That was disgusting. 58-year-old gum Was right there. And I would go into the den with my cards. I'd watch the game of the week, and I'd be in like the living room the entire time. I'd open up the cards, memorize all the stats, and I'd do that every single week. I had buddies that we would trade with on the block, and I had a 1975 Cliff Branch, and I got a 40-for-1 deal on it. Of course, next week I got my Cliff Branch back when you bought it. So those kinds of things. Let's see. Tom, we got talking on baseball cards today. Dad would stop at the local newsstand every night. Ice cream, packs of cards, come home. Chase him around the house until you that is very cool, Tom. Funnest memories of his childhood chasing around his dad until his dad gave up the cards. I know that you're all wondering, where the hell did the soccer conversation go today? Hutch, half-life of gum is either greater than or equal to 58 years. Yeah, I mean, it did not disintegrate when the guy opened the 56 pack. I mean, it was chopped up, obviously, from, just years of being packed, but it was in pieces, and it was like big pieces too. It wasn't like, shattered or anything, but yeah, it was like 3 shattered sections of the slab of gum from the 1956 Topps pack that the guy opened up was still there. That's worrisome to me. Topps gum has a larger half-life than probably some of the elements in the periodic table. That's some scary-ish. All right, so let's see what else is on your mind this morning. Yeah, so Pars is catching up through his card collection starting recently. And yes, Abby, it's great to have you back. It's great to have you back as always, which reminds me I need to promote the scarf. All right, Union always do have nice kits, and we'll get into the whole kit thing because Charlotte released theirs. It was kind of weird how they released it, and I don't think that they did it a bunch of things. They did it in a way that I don't think they were supposed to. Abby, saw the SDH list of soccer coverage. Hard to read. Had to download it to enlarge. Yeah, I mean, it is very busy. I will show you my calendar real quick. This is one of the 4 calendars. This is February. That's February right there, and it's either travel, games, or both. And we are halfway through the month. So that's what it is. Emilio, wife has always wanted to learn the bagpipes. Dell, you want a good question. What player made you fall in love with Atlanta United? Dell, I think that's the QOD. Abby, not just one, but loved watching Miggy. Yes, it is V-Day. We'll be discussing V-Day in hour number 2. Definitely we'll be discussing V-Day in hour number 2. Yes. Yeah, Madison was standing. Yeah, Madison and Jason, they were standing to try to stay warm because once that sun went down, it was in the 50s. It was really nice. Then the second the sun went down, you felt that the sun went down. Trust me. On the jerseys, Emilio, find it comical that everyone on it always hates the design or the price. Yet first game after the jersey launch, people eat it up. Of course they do. It's FOMO. Not saying you approve of the price, people will buy it, but every diehard fan has a minimum of 3 jerseys. Not wrong. Friday's kit release, can someone videotape it for Abby? Don't know if Atlanta United will be live streaming. Don't know that. Yeah, Madison can maybe do that for multiple nights in a row for those of us who are a little older. 1 late night at a time. True. Like I said, I fell asleep about 2 a.m. So I might be rambling more than usual. Let's see. What else is on everybody's mind this morning? Abby's trying to decrease hats because of the size of her office is not the size of Office HD. But yeah, Tom, you might want to stash those 2 stars. Anything below 1980, we probably can talk. Do have some cool ones. Got the Jordan Upper Deck White Sox, ton of Shaq rookies, decent stuff. The complete set from the World League of American Football. I do too. And I remember the World League where you could get you got points that were attached to the edges of the card. Wild Card, I think, was who it was. and I got like a Stan Gelbaugh that was worth 10 cards. And so you could send it in and you could get 10 Stan Gelbaughs if you wanted to. You send it to an address, wild card, you got like, you actually could get a wild card. You could send it back to the company and they could send you a card back. 500 points on this particular Stan Gelbaugh card, or this particular Orlando Thunder player. You could get points back and cards back. It's crazy what wild card tried to do. Emilio, for those over 50, do you ever, and full disclosure, I'm 39 repeating. Do you ever start thinking about minimizing, throwing out, donating, or selling stuff because you feel you don't want to leave your descendants or family members a house full of stuff pertinent to you? Huh. I mean, that's an interesting question. There have been times where I've debated raising funds for charity. And I guess the extension of the scarves and the jerseys is the adulter version of me from the trading cards. So I've evolved into, I mean, I've got an RGV Toros jersey upstairs that is on a hanger. I've got Almirante Brown. I've got a Ludogorets Razgrad Henley, their training shirt. Those kinds of things. At times, I have debated doing things like that for fundraisers, but I mean, it's really a lot of the things that I purchase, I picked up because they meant a lot to me at the time. It was a story I was covering. It was, a cause that I was attached to, those kinds of things, or a big ticket item that I went to as a civilian. I mean, my Masters hats were from the time when I was with CBS, and I would go and cover those events. But traditionally, the stuff that I have is tied to me because of stories and events and what we do here on a daily basis. That's the way it is now. If I do anything, it will be trying to drum up donations for a cause. That would be something like that. Hey, you want a T-shirt? You want a potluck high school T-shirt from the state of Georgia? It would go to a high school cause, something like that. Alex says, every home and away shirt Atlanta's worn, not buying another until or unless there's a big sale. And this is what I do, Alex, by the way. Wait for Fanatics to have the big sales because they have some monstrous sales. I'm serious. I have stacked my Atlanta United wardrobe and gotten some monster sales from Fanatics. So keep it. Set your notifications. If you haven't bought from Fanatics, here's your shopping thought of the day. If you haven't bought from Fanatics, buy from Fanatics, get on their list, because then they'll send you the emails. Hey, 60% off from the store for the next 24 hours. There might be flash sales and things, but they do have some massive bargains that will pop up. So do that too. LGP was Wiley's attraction to Atlanta United initially. Abby's thought about it initially, but making a list of everything invaluable so they know. I do remember the Desert Storm sets. I do remember those. You get your Schwarzkopf card. Your General Norman Schwarzkopf Topps card. Everybody was really chasing after that one. Did you get a Schwarzkopf yet? No. Few sets of those. Yeah, especially the ones only giving out to the military. The military onlys, very, very cool. Very, very cool that you have. And it could be non-memorabilia too, Amelia, yeah. And Dell will wait until the season's over. Right now, we do have some Charlotte news, by the way, coming up at the top of the hour before we talk to Rod Underwood. Charlotte brought out their kit, and it was Clint Dempsey and his son sitting courtside at a match. And the gradient was nice. The $175 price tag was not. And apparently, the team traditionally is, I don't know the order, but apparently it was leaked on a local morning show. Then the team puts out the notification that this is the new jersey. Then word comes out it was supposed to be released at the season ticket holders meeting and then put out to the media. So I don't quite think that went as well as Charlotte would have liked. They got their early morning rub on the New Jersey, but their order apparently was messed up in how they were going to release it. They were going to show it to the season ticket holders first, or the supporters groups first, then release it themselves. But it ends up being on a morning show first. Then the team has to put something out on social media. Then we find out that it was supposed to be done. I think Top Ben 90 is put out there that it was supposed to be done by the season ticket holders are supposed to watch it first. Yeah, and Abby, and this is the other thing. Abby says, love that the Hawks released Atlanta United's third kit. I don't think they were supposed to. The Hawks being the the ones that were releasing the third kit for Atlanta United when was it Bogey Bogdanovich and Clint Capella come wandering in. Clint and Bogey are walking, and you see the kit that's on and you're like, okay, that's new. And then the Hawks released it on social media with the two of them walking in the pictures. And apparently neither of I think it was Clint didn't know. Capella didn't know. The new away kit. Thank you, Abby. Clint didn't know that this was going to be the new kit. So he was asked about it post-game, and he's like, yeah, Bogey told me that this was the new kit. And so Clint wore it. So, yeah, sometimes things don't go the way you plan when it comes to releasing things out into the wild. It was a saunter, not just a walk, yes. Yes, so Clint and Bogey were sauntering down the hallway showing off the new away kit. Exactly, they were. And for Maddie, it was Franco Escobar and Joseph. And Maddie says she's got like 5 jerseys and things. We do have stuff in hour number 2 that is tied to stupidity down here, interesting politics, and things that happen. And this might be stupidity down here. We'll find out. There were certain things. Jeez. Certain things that were attached to players that will forever be attached to players. And we'll get into that in hour number 2. Like I said, Champions League was yesterday. We've got that to talk about. We've got stuff to get ready for today. We've got owners around the world who are American and are saying things about American soccer fans and British soccer and trying to say things that I think might be a little too far-fetched, but we'll get into that. For Michael, originally it was Miggy, and for the boss in Michael's household, it was Greg Garza. All right, starting off hour number 2. Blast-off battle, Friday and Sunday here on the SDH Network. And remember, we're now on Mixlr when it comes to our primary lives, mixlr.com. So it's soccerdownhere.mixlr.com, mixlr.com. Think like Major League Rugby with an IX in the middle. Soccerdownhere.mixlr.com. That's our live streaming service now. That's where all the live stuff, all the live matches that you're going to get, that's where it goes. So Friday and Sunday, Huntsville, Alabama, blast-off battle. It is Chattanooga FC and South Georgia Tormenta, Huntsville City Football Club, UAH Chargers. That's day 1. And then the opponents flip in day number 2. But day number 1 is when things kick off. 5 and 8 will be on a little before each to set you up for both of those matches on Friday. Yesterday, it was very, very cool. After practice, that we caught up with Rod Underwood, the head coach of Chattanooga FC, at Fort Finley. They had to do the walk all the way up the hill to get to the elevator, to get into the press box, to hang out with us and discuss what's going on in the world of Chattanooga FC. So here's our conversation that we had with Rod Underwood to get ready for blast-off battle, new year, new league for Chattanooga FC. All right. So first question, obviously, with the new flight plan and the new league and everything that you're heading into, what's the off season been like? I imagine a little hectic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been busy, right? I mean, but it's been a good busy. Obviously, being in the league now, you get access to different players, get access to players from all over the world, which we hadn't had in the past. So we're really excited about that. So that's been a very exciting part of it.
What's the response been in town? I remember being up there with you the day of the launch, and it was just a gazillion folks in the hotel and in the conference room when the announcement was made. Then you have the party, and now the real work is set in. What's the response been like since we last saw each other in the hotel?
Good. I mean, it's been good. We've had a lot of response in the city, right? I mean, Chattanooga really is a soccer town, right? And so they've been really supportive. And now that we've started training in preseason, a lot of support there, a lot of people out, a lot of questions. So it's good. It's good. I mean, it's just like it's everything that you want soccer to be in America, right? There's interest. There's people that want to know. They have thoughtful questions, and they want to be part of it.
So are you getting stopped in the grocery store or over at Hamilton Place when you're shopping? It's like what's going on now with folks asking questions?
I mean, it's really since I've been here, even since I've been here, I mean, when I recruit guys, I tell them, like, look, it's going to be hard for you to walk down the street without someone noticing you, especially having some Chattanooga gear. They're gonna want to stop and talk. And it's been that way since I've come here. So
when it comes to the challenges of this season, let me ask about last season. Are there any lessons that you can take from last year, even though different league, different setup, et cetera? What lessons can you take from last year and apply to this year going forward with practice and everything?
Yeah, I think for us, right, we do a lot of the same things, right? We do a lot of the same things. We train a lot of the same things over and over again. I think some of the things that we can learn from last year is just, off the field, just making sure that we remain professional and really raise the level of professionalism away from the field and on the field. Attention to detail is really important, even more so because the level's higher. And really just attention to details. And if we get ourselves in a semifinal, at least score one goal. So that would be nice.
So when you mentioned presentation in the community and attention to detail, and sometimes those things go hand in hand. When you have an athlete who is there with you, there at CFC, and the light comes on, and they finally understand the messaging and the mission that you and the staff and everybody there at the club are trying to get ingrained in them to be a part of the process. What's it like for you and the staff to see the light come on for those players?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think what we have noticed, especially like when guys leave and they send someone in, so for us to evaluate, that's the first thing they talk about. It's like the city, the support, the organization, how well they've been treated. And that really helps us get players. That really helps us get players because, you come in, it's organized, the club supports you, the city supports you. And again, right, soccer is growing, leaps and bounds in America, but there's still a lot of cities, a lot of places where these guys have been that there's no fans, right? There's no city support. So to be coming into an environment like this is really special.
What's it been like for you to see the growth of the sport there in Chattanooga? Because, as someone who's a Southeastern guy, you know what the landscape has been over the last, couple of days. I mean, you've seen how it's grown over time.
Yeah.
What's it been like for you to see it grow in the Southeast to where it is now, where it's in Nashville, in Chattanooga, in Knoxville, in Huntsville, in Bristol, in lower leagues? What's it been like for you to see it grow there in Chattanooga, knowing where it came from?
Well, that's just it. I was having a conversation yesterday, right? We were talking about World Cup '94, right? How that just exploded things. And I don't think any of us, even myself, who experienced that, I don't think we have a clue what it's going to do. And when we host the next World Cup, right? I just don't think it's going to be astronomical. But for me in the Southeast, be honest, you growing up, you never think soccer was going to be this. You always hoped it, but you just accept it for what it was. and you just kept going and going and going. And now you think back and you say, I never thought it would be here. I never thought it would be there. All the cities that you talked about. I had a conversation yesterday with someone, and they're looking at potentially having MLS Next, youth clubs in towns in Mississippi. It's like, really, that town? I'm like, how is that possible?
When it comes to study hall, getting ready for blast off battle, out of the blocks, you're going to start off against South Georgia Torment out of USL League One. Then you turn around and you're going to play Alabama Huntsville on a short turn and short rest. What has study hall been like getting ready for these two matchups coming up?
Yeah, I mean, look, we haven't really focused on them, and that's just our MO. That's just who we are, right? We're just focusing on us, trying to find the right players, find the right mix. And our goal is just to get our guys minutes and get our guys together, and that's all we really are interested in on the weekend. But we're looking for competitive games, right? We feel like something we've done in the past since I've been here has had a very high level competitive preseason, which helps us to get a good start to the season. So we're really looking forward to these games this weekend.
So for someone who has not seen you play, and they're coming into this cold, they're going into Huntsville, and they're seeing Chattanooga FC as a part of the weekend with the Fab Four that are showing up there. How would you describe your style if things are going your way? How would you describe the kind of football that you play?
Yeah, our football is possession. It's non-negotiable possession, meaning that we just don't change. I mean, it's irrelevant who we play, and especially even more so in preseason. It's about like getting the principles right, getting the guys getting comfortable. Because something that I really believe in as a coach, you can preach about things you want to do. When times get tough, do you change or do you stay? And I feel you send the wrong message if you change, especially in preseason, because then the players start to question, do you really believe? And then when you get to the tough moment again, they say, oh, coach is going to change. Or players, we need to change this, coach. We need to change that. So for us, it's about getting our core principles down and our possession style down, because from there we can leap anywhere.
So what would you consider to be a success other than no one getting injured? Obviously, that's number one in these two matches. If I was to say to you, okay, this weekend, we talk on Monday, say, the weekend was a success for you and the staff. What happened in these two matches as you're focusing on yourself and getting these core principles installed, getting ready for the season? My weekend was a success because we did blank.
I mean, it's multiple. It's a multiple of things, meaning that hopefully some of the guys we have on trial will perform up to a level that we think they can, and we sign them. So that's important. Number two, we show our football. We show that what we worked on in the last week and a half, 2 weeks is clear on the field. You see the identity begin to shape. You see things start to happen. And I would say thirdly, we win, because that's always, I mean, no matter what we say, that's never like any other option, no matter what the competition is for us.
Rod Underwood, the head coach of Chattanooga FC, hanging out with us. And it was great to catch up with, and I clipped the end of the answer, but great to catch up with Rod Underwood. We'll catch up with Ian Cameron tomorrow, and that'll be on the show in the 10 o'clock hour. Once again, we'll start hour number 2 tomorrow. We'll hear from Ian Cameron at 10 o'clock, and we'll catch up with Nico Moreno. Hopefully, if the internet works. It'll be in Colombia, as Nico is on vacation here on Valentine's. So once again, I know that you guys are having a bit of a discussion. Yes, Dell, Chattanooga does have 2 teams. They do. And Chattanooga FC is the team that was in. They went through the pyramid. They went through the NPSL pyramid, but then went to NISA, and then this past off season, they went from NISA and they're now in MLS Next Pro. And you can go back in our library, and we caught up with MLS Next Pro President Charles Altchek, with Coach Underwood, some of the folks from the front office, the mayor of Chattanooga, Tim Kelly, who is a part of the ownership group. And so this particular version of professional football in Chattanooga is team that went through NPSL, went to NISA, and now they've gone from NISA. This will be their first year in MLS Next Pro. MLS Next Pro is looking for those independent ownership groups. They've got that in Carolina with Carolina Core. Hopefully we'll catch up with them. And they've got it with Chattanooga FC. Chattanooga FC is the one that's going to blast off battle. The other team that you were referencing in your thoughts, Chattanooga Red Wolves. Chattanooga Red Wolves are in USL League One. And what we have maintained here on the network is that you have markets that can handle the growth of the game with multiple franchises. And Chattanooga is one of those right now because you've had the folks at Fort Finley with Chattanooga FC, and they've done their thing. And you have Red Wolves who are doing what they're doing in Eastridge. This past week, it looked like the Red Wolves teams in Dalton and in Park City might be taking a hiatus. We'll get the information on that. But folks that follow USL League 2 looked at the team releases, and they didn't see the two Red Wolves teams in Dalton and in Park City, Utah. So we'll find out about that come USL League 2. But yes. Oh, wow. I hit the wrong button. Wrong one. Man, you're hitting the wrong button and everything. All right. So that's what I was doing with trying to get Rod squared away, working more than stuff, basically. So bottom line is Chattanooga is a market that you can have. No, they're independent, Emilio. They're actually independent. Chattanooga FC is not affiliated with an MLS team, but they are in MLS Next Pro. Like I said, they are complete and total independent. They wanted to come in from NISA. They wanted to be a part of MLS Next Pro. They understand that it is a new league. It is a step up in competition, step up in quality, all those kinds of things. They get that. Nashville SC is affiliated with Huntsville City Football Club. And that's where that affiliation is. But Carolina Core, completely independent ownership group. They're in MLS Next Pro. Chattanooga FC came over from NISA. They're in MLS Next Pro. Like I said, this is what MLS Next Pro wants. As a league, they want to have folks that are, like Atlanta United too. You have all of the teams that are attached through affiliate agreements, all the twos teams that we have here on the network when we're doing Atlanta United 2 soccer. What MLS Next Pro wants is they want the independent ownership. They want to grow the game that way at that level. And if an MLS franchise sees, someone that is an incredibly talented player, then, you can once again say, if you are, insert team here. Well, let's say Charlotte. Well, Charlotte, we'll go ahead and say Charlotte, considering that Charlotte had a player move today that was intriguing to say the very least, but one that happened, that should have happened a while ago. All right. Chattanooga FC, if they have a roster and you've got some folks on that roster that are, being looked at for their future. Let's say, just as an example, Alex McGrath will be the player that's on the Blast Off Battle pregame show, the pre-kick. And so let's say, for the sake of argument, an example, that Alex is being looked at because Alex has like 95 goals and 127 assists. I know that Alex would love that. I know that Rod would love that. Rod Underwood would love that because it means they're winning games. So Alex McGrath has a Wayne Gretzky-like season where he scores 212 points. And MLS Division I, Major League Soccer, and a Major League Soccer team knocks on Chattanooga FC's door. Hey, we'd like one of your players. It doesn't have to be a team that they're affiliated with. Chattanooga FC can find their own way, bring in their own players. Carolina Core can find their own way, bring in their own players. And if a Major League Soccer team knocks on their door because they see a talented player, then that benefits Chattanooga FC. That benefits Carolina Core. That benefits those independent teams. Transfer fees, all those kinds of things. So it's a little different. But Chattanooga FC moved from NISA. They're in MLS Next Pro now. Chattanooga Red Wolves are in USL League One. They have made a lot of moves in the offseason. And as we get closer to the kickoff of the USL League One season, we'll catch up with folks up there, our good friend Sean McDaniel, and find out what it's looking like in Eastridge. Well, and Dell's surprised that a city that small has two teams. But I think that the stadium, obviously Chattanooga FC plays at Finley Stadium in downtown. There were times in the NPSL when they would be playing New York Cosmos B for title games, you'd have 18,000 people there. That shows that a market that size can handle that size of a crowd. Chattanooga FC, if you're a fan of Chattanooga FC, you can go in that direction. If you're a fan of Red Wolves, you can go in that direction. Red Wolves, they understood as a part of their growth what the footprint meant. They brought in folks from Dalton. Omar Hernandez, signed by Chattanooga Red Wolves a couple weeks ago. We're going to have a 1v1 with him coming up in short order. You have a player that's at Dalton High School. Red Wolves notice this and know this from where they are in the footprint and where they understand. They understand the local talent pool. Northwest Georgia, when it comes to high school soccer, there's a reason. There's a reason that we're doing games up there. I don't think there has been a Chattanooga derby, Michael. I think the fan bases kind of have some angst toward one another, and I might be underselling that a little bit. So I don't know. They might want to have one down the road, but I don't think they've played yet. I don't think they have because of the angst that's attached. There's a reason. Where Red Wolves are specifically. There's a reason why we're doing Dalton and Johnson Gainesville on the 23rd as a part of the Whitfield County, Hall County doubleheader. Northwest Whitfield's playing East Hall. Dalton is playing Johnson Gainesville. Later on the 27th, 4 days later, literally, as a part of our schedule, on the 23rd, we are doing at Johnson Gainesville a doubleheader between Whitfield County schools and Hall County schools. 4 days after that doubleheader, we're going back up to Dalton to do Northwest Whitfield and Dalton. That's what that footprint is. It is stacked with talent. Stacked, stacked, stacked. Red Wolves have gone into the Northwest Georgia area. They found the talent pool that's there, and that's a part of their DNA. Chattanooga FC, through their run with NISA, Rod Underwood has an idea as to who he wants to bring in for talent, and that's what they do. So right now you are in a market that is in two separate leagues, but you have fans of approaches and fans of teams that are doing their things their way. Dell doesn't think he can, follow MLS Next Pro. Well, and considering that most of your time is spent Major League Soccer USL Championship, I understand that. David said the family went to a CFC match last year. Great capo stand and supporters noise. Not a huge crowd. Fun environment. Easy walk from downtown Chattanooga hotels. Brewery right outside the stadium doors. That's true. Very easy to make a fun Saturday night of it. But, yeah, it is literally one of those things where Chattanooga FC has their idea in mind. We're going to go the MLS Next Pro route. Chattanooga Red Wolves have their thought in mind. We're going to go USL League One. And I think that Chattanooga should be commended for having these two franchises going two separate ways with two separate approaches, with fan bases that appreciate them for who they are. You're seeing that in that Petri dish, you can have teams in separate leagues coexist with their fans in a market. And I think that when a lot of times we get wound up in the idea of, okay, you've got two teams in two different markets. Oh, no, it's got to be survival of the fittest. No, it doesn't. If you find your way and are set with who you are, then you should be absolutely cool with folks doing their own thing. And you're seeing that right now in Chattanooga with a USL League One franchise and an MLS Next Pro franchise. They're doing their thing. All right, player news. And it's both in Charlotte. And we had anticipated that Charlotte was with Dean Smith and Zoran Cornetta and David Tepper, that there was going to be some stuff going on. Yeah, David, and the Red Bulls do have a women's team. Absolutely correct. Gretchen, who's the coach up there? Now you're driving me crazy because I can't remember it now. All right. I know this doesn't bode well for, I don't have hold music. Chattanooga Red Wolves, and I know it's going to drive me crazy that I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. Lady Red Wolves SC. They played last year. Had a very, very busy schedule. And club, let's see, front office. Or was it technical staff? It's technical staff. That's what I need. I need the technical staff. It's driving me crazy that I can't think of who it is. Oh, goodness gracious. That's driving me nuts. Schedule, news, club, teams. Okay, Lady Red Wolves SC. Okay. Click on it. Lady Red Wolves SC. That's from last year. Oh, I can't. Oh, it's driving me crazy. I can't remember who it is. Anyway, but yeah, they do have a women's team and they play in USLW. So once again, that's just a path that they decided to take. All right. Charlotte. I was going to get into it when we talked about the gradient and the gradient jersey where you're paying $175. Dean Smith, obviously, in his first season there, is kind of clearing the decks. Because today we have some player announcements, official type stuff. And it's going to make me wonder, and when we catch up with Jessica Charman next week, we can find out what her thoughts are on who's been brought in and who's leaving. We mentioned who's leaving. Charlotte has transferred Kamil Juzwiak to Granada in La Liga for an undisclosed fee. Sources indicate, though, that the fee was not more than $1 million. That was not what Charlotte FC paid to bring in Kamil Juzwiak in the first place. That was not what was planned. Juzwiak came in from Derby County, where he played a handful of years. 3-year deal signed back in 22 to a DP deal. Juzwiak in 45 games with Charlotte, 2 goals. So Juzwiak is out the door. Gone, daddy, gone. So the transfer fee when he was brought in, I'm trying to find that, joined Derby in the summer of 2020 for a reported fee just under $5. And they were blasted over an unpaid £2.5 million transfer fee at the time. And Derby County was not going to see a nickel of the transfer fee from Charlotte because they still owed money to Lech Poznan for the transfer back in 2020. Three-letter paper at the time that Darby was getting, which was going to be worth around $1 million pounds, is going straight to Lech Poznan. So even as we are talking about 7 figures that was spent by Charlotte to bring in Kamil Jóźwiak was in 2 seasons, 45 appearances, 2 goals, moved on to Granada. So I'm guessing that you can say that transaction didn't go well. In addition to that, Matty Cruz on the 1s and 2s lets us know that Charlotte has transferred Guzman Corujo, and this had been talked about. Guzman Corujo has been transferred to FK Kukarički. Where is FK Kukarički, you ask? Serbia. Center back Guzman Corujo to FK Kukarički, who has been in international European competitions, joined ahead of the 22 season, 1 goal, that's it. 31 games, of course, he's also a center back. 31 games, 30 starts. ACL injury limited him to just under 400 minutes last year. Vinicius Melo, you'll remember, was also moved to Kukarički last week. So to me, that means there's some kind of pipeline and communication from probably Dean Smith to agents and things like that. So Vinicius Melo, who we got to see in MLS Next Pro, moved to FK Kukarički in Serbia. Guzman Corujo transferred to FK Kukarički in Serbia. Kamil Jóźwiak, where you probably lost a little money on the deal and a transfer fee. 7 figures to 6 figures. It might be $100,000, $200,000 by the end of it. Jóźwiak out. Corujo out. Vinicius Melo out. Times are interesting in Charlotte. Like I said, we'll try and catch up with our friend Jessica Charman next week and find out what is on her mind with all the outbounds and the inbounds and all of that. So, And folks are releasing their jerseys today. Apparently, New England Revolution has unveiled a Boston Tea Party jersey. The Boston Tea Party kit is what they're calling it. It's available today at Gillette Stadium. Inspired by Boston's proud history of positive defiance. Positive defiance. Okay. This is how the Revs are discussing this with their new kit. Positive defiance, which will serve as the team's new primary uniform for 24 and 25. Authentic Boston Tea Party jerseys are now available for purchase at the Gillette Stadium Pro Shop on MLSstore.com. Okay, well, at least the Tea Party kit, the Heritage kit is out for Red Bulls. Sorry, the Legacy kit. I'm sorry. The Legacy kit is out. I mean, all this is on the front page of MLSsoccer.com. The Revs with the Boston Tea Party jersey. I mean, I actually liked the spray paint Revs jersey. I liked that one. Boston Tea Party jersey's out. Legacy kit is out for Red Bulls. So you've got some folks that are releasing their kits as we go. Fire finally set more money on fire and are bringing in Kellen Acosta. Portland signed Juan Mosquera to a contract extension. Charlotte signed French midfielder Djibril Diani, who they brought in from Caen. Remember what we talked about with distressed assets? Who's gone to Ligue 2 that we know? Who have they brought in? Short answer, Atlanta United, Muyumba, Silva, Gregerson. Con right now is actually in the fight for promotion. They would be in the promotion playoff on goal difference. 14 matches left in the season. 5th in Ligue 2. So they're in the hunt. But they're in that hunt for that final playoff promotion spot. It's not like Bordeaux where they're 13th and they're trying not to get relegated. But Con right now obviously thought they needed to make some kind of a financial move. And Djibril Diani, under contract through the 25 season, option for 26, and he occupies an international roster spot. RSL's acquired Matt Crooks from Middlesbrough. We talked about Brent Kallman during the show yesterday. So, yeah, you're starting to get some moves. And folks are trying to fill in their spaces. But it's been very, very busy in Charlotte. FK Kukurychki apparently has them on speed dial, or it might be the other way around. So that's so the Tea Party kid is out. The Legacy kid is out. Yes. Dell, is Atlanta done with all signings? Don't know. I mean, to Emilio's point, Carlos said one more weeks ago. But we'll see. I mean, if you're bringing somebody in at this point, I mean, remember what happened with Joseph Martinez. Joseph Martinez was a late pickup as well. And he was a loan deal to start. So you're always looking. Even if you're not saying anything publicly, you're always looking. Because windows are open in a bunch of different countries. There's still a lot of countries where that you can still transfer windows, soccer. Let me see if I can winter transfer window from our friends at Transfermarkt. A lot of Eastern Europe is still available. UAE, Middle East, North Africa. Ireland is open until the 22nd, so that's another week. The Russian League is open until the 22nd. Some windows in South America, Peru and Uruguay are open till the 26th. So you can still get some work done if your analytics has showed you, okay, we're chasing after folks in these countries. So the availabilities are there. Just because nothing's happening doesn't mean that you ain't looking. Abby doing us a public service and letting us know that all of the new kits that are being released are over at USA Today at Pro Soccer Wire. And the Red Bulls kit, yeah, that Red Bulls kit's pretty cool. I'm still not buying it, but it's pretty cool. No, Del, we did not talk about the 6-on-6, the TRT. Nani's bringing a team to carry with Balotelli. What do you want to bet that folks are going to sit there and somebody in Major League Soccer is going to look at Balotelli in that 6-on-6 tournament and sit there and go, hey, maybe we should give him a deal. Maybe we should. Just a thought. Okay, so as they're being released, Abby is saying that it is a rolling thing over at Pro Soccer Wire where they're releasing all the stuff. So all the stuff is being placed in one place by our friends at USA Today at Pro Soccer Wire. And I mentioned and once again, this is Matty Cruz on the 1s and 2s looking for stories. I don't quite see this going well. Russia, and we talked about the Russian professional league window being open for another 8 days. Russia apparently has something close to a national team. Associated Press this morning. Russia is going to host Paraguay for a soccer friendly next month in what would be its first men's national team match against a South American team since the invasion of Ukraine. RFU said Wednesday the game will take place at Dinamo Moscow Stadium March 25th, 4 days after Russia plays Serbia in another friendly at the same venue. Public service reminder, Russia has been removed from international soccer competitions. Russian national team has mostly organized friendlies against teams from Asia and Africa, as well as one match against Cuba in November. Russian women's national team played Paraguay in 2 away friendlies last year. Russia won 1 3-0. The other was a 1-1 draw. I don't know how this is going to go in the world of theater. How Paraguay and Serbia will be looked at. But once again, take a peek at the politics and take a look at the front office, the man, the individuals who are in the biggest house on the biggest hill on the biggest side of town. That's how these things get done. And then we have to follow the geopolitics that are attached. Abby says the wire team's going to play them. And like I said, it's you have to look at this, and this is almost where my political science degree comes into play. Look at the individual in charge for that country. Look at their ideology and see if it's anywhere close to how things are going on currently in Russia, ideologically. So ideology first, and see if it's in line. That is always going to be the first thing that you stare at, without looking at it specifically. Like I said, just find out who the leader of that country is, look at their ideology, and you might be able to put 1 and 1 together and come up with something other than 11. So there's that. Goofy stuff. And like I said, we're all over the place this morning. We'll get into, and because we got to promote the scarves and the Abstermobile now that Abby's back. If you want to order your scarf, it's in the Discord. About the details, we'll go over the Marshall Islands scarf where Maddie is internationally famous, and we'll go over that too. Other things this morning. Can you think about the last time that you hurt yourself doing something where you're sitting there going, there's no way that I could hurt myself doing X, Y, or Z? There's no way. For me, traditionally, I'm glad you weren't. I know you weren't gone. You're just little. You're feeling a little more human, under the weather. And we're glad that you're not as under the weather as you've been. So think about the last time that you were doing something. For me, it was probably walking, and you're going, man, there's no way I could hurt myself walking, falling down a flight of stairs, missing the last stair, stumbling into a door. Literally turning a corner and smacking your hip against a sofa or a doorknob or something like that. I do that a lot. I want to cut corners. Like when I'm walking in a room, I want to cut corners. It's like I'm rounding off. I'm not going like, 90-degree angles to turn around sofas and things. So traditionally, those are the times when I hurt myself. It has to do with walking. Really don't play a whole lot of sports. Jarrett's the one that plays the sports and has his shoes explode. Now, I don't, step on a root out in the yard or anything like that. I'd actually have to go outdoors to do something like that. Most of my time, when I hurt myself, it's doing something in the house, and I'm tripping and falling all over myself, or falling upstairs, which is something I'm also very good at because I have a size 13 shoe. And traditionally, I'm only good for about half a step. Because if I go inside that half, I'm tripping up the stairs. Which brings us to Yeonmin Son. He didn't trip falling upstairs or anything like that, but this is close. Yeonmin Son injured his finger in an altercation with teammates on the eve of his country's exit from the Asian Cup. From our friends at The Guardian, the players quarreled during a team dinner before their 2-0 semifinal defeat by Jordan last week. Still means in 64 years they haven't won an Asian Cup. South Korean Football Federation officials said it happened when some young players went up to play table tennis, and Son and the other older players took issue with it. Players exchanged a few words, and Son hurt his finger in the process. and it's on his right hand, and it is his index finger and his middle finger. And you can look at pictures, and you can also look at him in a Spurs uniform now, where you'll see those two fingers are taped up. Those are the two fingers in question. PSG's Lee Kang-in apologized on the gram, or the IG of the Insta for it. Quote, "We have caused great disappointment to the soccer fans who always support our national team. I'm really sorry. I should have taken the lead and followed my brother's instructions, but I'm just sorry for showing soccer fans a bad image. I apologize to the many people who are disappointed in me. From now on, I will try to help my brothers become better players and people." South Korea's exit was by Jordan, ranked 87th in the world. Remember, folks, Jurgen Klinsmann was in charge of South Korea, ranked 23rd in the world. Then after the tournament was over for South Korea, Jurgen Klinsmann decided, instead of staying in South Korea, he was going to go home to Southern California while the Korean Football Association decided his fate. As far as we know, it is still being decided. If he is dismissed, they owe him $5 million. Great gig if you can get it. So we're waiting to figure out what country, and I imagine that the Korean Football Association is going to jettison Jurgen Klinsmann. And as we had the discussion earlier in the week, you wonder which opportunity is going to be presented to him next. Think a national team with a lot of money or access to a lot of money, not a whole lot of experience, wants to make the splashy hire, and think that Jurgen Klinsmann is going to be the guy to get them to the next level. They will be sadly mistaken, but someone will do it. Klinsmann accepted responsibility for the team's failure, but did not offer to resign because, once again, if you offer to resign, you're giving up that $5 million. You're giving up that $5 million. He's no dummy. I quit. You're leaving money on the table. You have to fire me. There will be billable hours. I'm not planning to do anything. I will analyze this tournament, go back to Korea with the team, talk with the federation about what was good and not so good in the tournament. I can tell you what was good and not so good. That's easy. But yeah, after the loss, I'm not planning to do anything. I will analyze this tournament, go back to Korea with the team, talk with the federation. I'll talk with them virtually. I'm going back to Southern California. Y'all can talk in this room. I'm going home. Son came off the bench in the match against Brighton on Saturday. You see the pictures of the index finger and the middle finger taped. Got an assist in the 96th minute for the 2-1 win over Brighton. But, yep, hurting yourself at a ping pong table is not something that I had on the bingo card. Fighting off younger players. I'm guessing that there was a discussion about when playing ping pong is appropriate and when it is not. And if the senior players wanted to play it first, they should be able to, and the younger guys shouldn't crash the table. Hey, it's our turn. Senior players might not have been done. Senior players also might have saying this is not a good time to do that. So we don't have a whole lot of details. But as always, team effort, remember, can't be one player's fault. Can be one coach's fault. That's just me. Stupidity down here. And it's also my little lawyering down here, too. Quincy Promes, sentenced to 6 years in prison. Dutchman pleaded guilty to being involved in the importation of 1,300 kilograms of cocaine. 1,300 kilos. Conversion. 1,300 kilos to pounds is almost 2,900 pounds. Basically, kilos to pounds is 2.2. 2,900 pounds of cocaine. The value of the goods estimated at 75 million euro. 6 years in the Hoosgow, 2,900 pounds of cocaine. Convicted of smuggling. Brother, yeah. Dutch court convicted the former Netherlands soccer star of complicity in cocaine smuggling. Sentenced him in absentia, by the way. Sentenced him in his absence. I don't know if that's necessarily a good sign or not. Let's see if he was behind bars, perhaps, and was unable to attend. Complicity in cocaine smuggling, sentenced him in absence Wednesday in Amsterdam, 6 years in prison. Ruled that the 32-year-old who plays for Spartak Moscow was involved in the import and export of cocaine in 2020. Once again, this is from our friends at the AP. Former player for Ajax and Sevilla, lives in Moscow, and did not appear at his trial in the Dutch capital. His lawyers told judges he denied the allegations. Prosecutors had asked judges to sentence him to 9 years. In a written verdict, court said that Promes got involved in the drug imports despite being a highly paid soccer star with legions of fans and followers on social media. Quote from the court: "This makes it even more objectionable that the suspect tries to increase his wealth and possibly also prestige in certain circles through involvement in large international drug transports. 7 goals and 50 caps for the Netherlands." Abby doing the math. Almost 2,900 pounds of cocaine, 75 million euro is $80.39 million. Importation of over $80 million worth of cocaine. Sentenced in absentia. Yeah, he's hanging out in Moscow. He's going to probably keep playing in the Russian Premier League with Spartak. I have a feeling. I have a feeling that Quincy Promes may not be leaving the country. That's just me thinking out loud. Let's see. So, Hutch asking if there's an extradition treaty between Russia and the Netherlands. And as we scan down, because there actually is a table of all of these, it is an elimination system. Dual criminality is established if the crime is punishable in both countries and is threatened with a minimum maximum penalty in both countries. The treaty type is multilateral. Extradition of Dutch nationals, probably, according to our friends at the Wikipedias. Extradition of nationals to the Netherlands, and the answer is no, according to the European Convention on Extradition. So, from the looks of things, if dual criminality is established in both the Netherlands and Russia, thus why when you are charged and you are working in Russia that you say no. Why no? That did not happen. So, dual criminality is apparently does not exist in this case by the letter of the law. So, I would not anticipate an extradition of Quincy Promes from Russia to the Netherlands. I believe as we continue to follow that story along in stupidity down here, I would not anticipate any kind of extradition. Like I said, that's just me. That's just me. So, not a surprise. So Dutch extradition treaty, dual criminality, all those kinds of things down here do not exist. So do not anticipate any kind of extradition to Quincy Promes. Also, AFCON's top scorer, Emilio Insue, is suspended by Equatorial Guinea after the tournament for several episodes of serious indiscipline. Won the Golden Boot as the top goal scorer, 5 goals in 4 appearances for Equatorial Guinea. Plays on the back line. Remained unavailable for international duty until further evidence became available. Hat trick in Equatorial Guinea's group stage victory over Guinea-Bissau. 2 more in the big win over Ivory Coast, where they fired their first manager, brought in the interim, and then ended up winning the tournament. FA added the incident had brought reputational damage upon the team and the nation. Plays for the Spanish Primera Federación side Intercity, the 3rd level. You might have heard Jason talk about it last night in 343 about Insue. 3rd level of the soccer pyramid in Spain. Leading scorer in AFCON, now suspended after the tournament for serious indiscipline. Also on the board, keep an eye on Manchester United. They're chasing after Dan Ashworth over at Newcastle. To be the top target to become sporting director. Chelsea's women's side have approached Lyon head coach Sonia Bonpastor to succeed Emma Hayes at the end of the season. Promoted from her role within the Lyon Academy to women's head coach after the sacking of Jean-Luc Vasseur back in 21. So could Bonpastor be on her way to Chelsea's women? Now, this was something interesting also that happened yesterday in the NWSL. Bay FC, they're spending money. They don't care. If they want to make that splash, they're spending money. Rachel Kunananji from Madrid CFF has been signed and transferred for a world record fee in women's soccer. Women's soccer. Zambia forward. Kundananji world record fee in the neighborhood of $785,000. Signed a contract through 27 with an option for another year. Athletic quoted Lucy Rushton for a couple of sentences. Kundananji, 33 goals, 43 Liga F games, Liga Feminine games for Madrid. 10 goals, 18 appearances for Zambia, the first African player to break a world transfer record. So keep an eye on Bay FC. They also signed Arsenal defender Jen Beattie and Asisat Ashuala from Barcelona. Bay FC is not messing around. And along those lines, Doug Robertson at the AJC released it. I will promote the scarf, Abby. Pay me. Fill out the Google Doc. Abstermobile picks it up. So we're going to promote the scarf before we go. And Abby will be the one who delivers it to you. If you are local and want to see Abby and say hi, as you should. So Doug Robertson of the AJC lets us know that the city of Atlanta, and this once again is no surprise, have already sold 26,500 tickets for the She Believes match at Mercedes-Benz with 2 months to go on the table. 2 months remaining before the U.S. plays Japan and Canada plays Brazil on April 6th. 26,500 tickets. Not a surprise. For this market and for the love of the game to continue to show the support for the game across the board. 26,500 tickets already with 2 months to go for She Believes. Previous She Believes record of 26.5 was set in 2020 and 2017 at Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey. Tickets being sold lower bowl in the 200 level, but the stadium can be open to full capacity. Meaning the 41,000 that we normally have in the lower bowl, that's what you're staring at. And I think that with 2 months to go, and you're probably going to have some walk up. So I would say close to full lower bowl. Fantastic visuals and good on the city, but no real surprise. Good on the support of the fans here in the Southeast, no surprise. 26,500 already sold. Second round of the tournament scheduled to be played at lower.com, 4 and 7 o'clock. Tickets purchased for each game date valid for both matches on that match day. So basically, you get a ticket. You get a ticket for She Believes. You're there for the whole time. You get the doubleheader for the day. April 6th, you get a ticket. You get U.S., Japan, Canada, and Brazil. 26,500 already sold. Very, very cool. Good on you. SDH footprint, but no real surprise. That, once again, no real surprise. Abby says she forgot that she bought 2 tickets and bought 2 more. That would be, shoot. That's awesome. Maddie has her hand raised because we are in the final 10 minutes of the show. And so it's time to bring in Maddie Cruz and the 1s and 2s. So what's on your mind, girlfriend?
I'll take the ticket.
So there you go. Abby, you've got somebody to take the other 2 tickets off your hands. Maddie will take them off your hands. So yeah, she is raising her hand. Alex has 4 of the tickets. And U.S. Soccer, yes, they did hire a marketing person. Also news that Maddie has come up. TAA, Trent Alexander-Arnold, is going to miss the EFL Cup final with Chelsea with a knee injury. Thanks to our friends at Bleacher Report for that. What else is on your mind this morning? Oh, we have to talk about today, don't we? Today in the sense of today, not in the sense of sports, but in today. We do. I think we have to. Okay. For the record, this, for me and the boss, is Dell's like, no, we don't. For me and the boss, it is we call it Happy Amateur Day, and we celebrate each other 365 days a year. Why should this day that is created strictly for commercialism and the selling of stuff be any different?
Yeah, I've never understood Valentine's Day. Like, I've never have. I don't know. Like, listen, do I love seeing the little, like, Dove chocolates with little hearts? Yes. Because I also love Dove chocolate. So, but I'll buy Dove chocolate even if it's not shaped like a heart.
Uh-huh.
So.
This morning, I go walking into the kitchen. And before I went to bed at 2 a.m. this morning, I put out a couple of Valentine's cards because it had turned to 2:14. So I figured, okay, it's safe to do it. So I put them in the kitchen because I know that when she goes to get her cup of coffee at like 5:30 in the morning, it'll be the first thing she sees. And so I came downstairs after she had left to go to work, and I go into the kitchen, and I have like 9 packages of Reese's, which is my weakness. I literally, she'll go and she'll buy like the big plastic containers of Reese's, the big plastic bags. And I swear to God, I love Reese's so much, but I never have the chance really to eat them in the same. It's like you buy 3 big bags. When are you supposed to eat them all? I can't do that at one sitting. So I end up putting them in the freezer, and I might have some Reese's in there from Easter of 1972. Literally, you put them in the freezer and you thaw them out and everything's cool. But yeah, I have 3 bags of Reese's waiting for me in the kitchen with cards. And the rowdy man, who's right here, and he is dead, asleep, being the full guard dog for the show. He has some stuff in the kitchen as well for 2:14. But I've just never understood the full idea of celebrating just today, because today you try to get a reservation at a restaurant and it ain't happening.
Oh my God, no. I mean, even if you're just like trying to go eat, just like in general, like Like you're screwed.
You're normal. You want to go out and get a bite to eat, and you can't get a place because all the amateurs have ascended like locusts onto your favorite restaurant.
Oh yeah. I like it's something that happened like when I was back at home last week. My mom wasn't feeling the best, and my dad comes in with a thing of flowers, and it's just like, I know you weren't feeling well, so here's some flowers because I love you.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, like that should happen whenever because it's not an everyday thing. It's not a Valentine's Day, like that's the only time you should celebrate it. I disagree with that. And yeah, I don't know. I just that little story.
Yeah, I mean,
so we stand.
I mean, literally, Dell says it's a commercial holiday. It is. Like I said, it was created. It was created so folks are somewhat pressured into spending money to show affection for someone. This day means that much more. No, it doesn't. Yeah, and Emilio, I'm right there with you, man. Emilio's like, it's similar to Christmas. We buy stuff throughout the year.
Okay, listen.
Yeah?
That I'll disagree with you on. I love Christmas. Yeah, love Christmas.
So does the boss. But I like Emilio, though. If I see something in March that I think will fit for Festivus, I'm going to buy it. Look, if it's on special in March, I'll buy it and hang on to it and then give it at Festivus instead of, paying full price and being under pressure between Thanksgiving and Christmas and going, oh my God, I've got to get something. If I see something, I'm going to buy it and hang on to it.
Oh no, I did the same thing. I did the same thing with my parents. My parents did the same thing throughout it. Like, I think my mom at like end of October looks at me and goes, Christmas is done. And I was like, that's also because my mom is like really, really strangely very, very good at it. Like I think that I'm like a shopping, like I think I have a shopping addiction. It's like kind of bad. But my mom is worse. My mom is
so then you have a shopping appreciation. Your mom has a shopping addiction.
Yes, but I think we both are blind and we both think it's a shopping appreciation, but we both it's like when we're together and we go out, my stepdad's like, oh God, y'all are gonna buy like so much stuff. And me and mom are like, no, we're not. And then we come home with like
9 bags.
And then he's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's just literally, it's like just hand over the wallet or hand over the Amex. Is like, just come back and just let me know if it's smoking. I know what happened.
Oh yeah, my mom is very, very good at doing all that stuff. So Christmas, you have to buy in like certain things. If you get a deal, buy it. I'm a firm believer. If there's a deal, buy it. Every time Fanatics has anything with sports, I always use it as an excuse to buy like a jersey.
Dell,
I think I've gotten like 2 Braves jerseys because of it, and it's like not good, but I did it.
Yeah, Maddie, Dell says, Maddie, ask yourself if you need it or if you just want it.
I do need it. What are you talking about, Dell?
See, there you go.
I need it.
That's the thing. It's all about always wanting it and always needing it. So that's the hook in all of this.
No, I'm pretty good at it. But I will say, being a broke college student maybe isn't the best thing for me to have is a shopping appreciation.
No, well,
TJ Maxx is great. So
yeah. I mean, absolutely, yes. And Derek says, I need to want it. Dell says sales are a trick, though. Because sales are a trick. Because if you sit there and you do the numbers, you can sit there and it's like, okay, so 35% off of this and then another 30%, and then you're really only like 38% discount. All these kinds of things. Seriously, Fanatics, we talked about it in hour number 1. Fanatics has some amazing sales. You just have to camp out and not be afraid to pull the trigger.
Oh, agreed. You have to like that was why I got I think I got a navy blue Matt Olson jersey for the Braves. Got it for $89. They're normally like what? Like 150?
Yeah, 150, 175, yeah.
Yeah. Especially an Olsen one. Like I was like, I'm stealing it.
Yep.
I was a rash decision I made in the student center at KSU, and I did it, and it's the best decision I've ever made.
There you go. Tom says instead of ABC, always be BC closing, it's ABW, always be wanting. Always be wanting. True. And Dell, this for me, Dell says a lot of times when they say buy 2 for this price, you can get 1 at half that price. Yes. And it also depends on where you shop. And this also applies more for groceries than it does for actual things that you possess.
I always, whenever I go grocery shopping, if I ever see a buy 1, get 2, I always know that if I just buy 1, it's going to be like split, which is great. Especially at Publix. Publix does that a lot. And conveniently, it's a lot of the things that I do buy. So it works very well for me when I go there and they're like, you get $3 off this $5 thing. And I'm like, really? Yes. And I get very excited. So.
Yeah, and same with drugstores with their coupons. If you can hoard the coupons and combine the coupons, you really get out of there, and they're still paying you money to get all the things that are expensive in the first place. I'm trying to see if there's any other news real quick. Let's do other news. We have some other injury updates and things like that before we go. Diego Carlos sustained a hamstring injury during a training session for Aston Villa. Set to undergo tests to determine the severity of the issue. We mentioned Bon Pastor. Wolves forward Mateus Cunha sustained a fairly significant hamstring injury, according to Gary O'Neill, monitored week by week in the first half of the loss to Brentford. A supporter who poked Sevilla forward Lucas Ocampos on the backside, basically poked him in the butt.
I do remember this.
During their La Liga match at Rayo Vallecano, has been fined €6,000 and given a year-long stadium ban in Spain. The young fan was identified by national police and has been referred to the juvenile prosecutor's office. Plus, you got a $6,000 fine. Yep, Del, we're going to get into Champions League in a sec. Government's Anti-Violence Commission, who have the power to administer punishments, outlined how the fan had acted in a, quote, joking and defiant manner following the incident, which caused the match to be temporarily paused. Lesson learned. Don't poke players in the butt in Spain.
Or just don't do it at all.
Period. Yeah.
Maybe just like don't do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I just unfortunately think that, I don't know. That whole situation is so weird.
when we get into these discussions, basically it comes to the idea of that if I have a ticket, I can do whatever I want, and I can say whatever I want. Gretchen Hamill, thank you, David. That's who I was trying to think of. Thank you. I'll probably remember that at 2:00 in the morning. So Dell wants to know, do we buy groceries online, pick up at the store drive-through? It is so good, you only get what you need.
I do.
Sometimes.
I do both. My roommate does pick up or like buys it online and then picks it up. She loves it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I might start doing that.
Yes. And so, when you have what happened with our friend Lucas Ocampos, it always reminds me of one of the most important speeches that we've ever heard in the history of our sport.
Look, I get that some people think if they buy a ticket, they've got the right to yell whatever abusive shit they want at footballers. But they're not just footballers. They're also people. And none of us know what is going on in each other's lives.
There you go. That's the short version.
The beautiful, beautiful words of Roy Kent, which, funny enough, you want a fun little tidbit? My car is named Roy Kent. So
okay, nothing wrong with that.
It's the Roy Kent.
Is it perpetually angry when you're out on the road?
Oh, absolutely. All the time.
Just checking.
All the time.
Yeah. And that was courtesy of our friends at Apple TV, by the way. Just because you buy a ticket doesn't mean you can do whatever you want, including doing what the young guy did to Lucas Ocampos. Don't do it. Don't do it. David, on the grocery apps, I get too annoyed with if they don't have X, what do you want instead? Then they always pack the wrong thing. Oh, we didn't have that. And then they just pack something else that, wasn't close.
Yeah, I just that's the one thing. Because I like my specific brands. And if they don't have it, then I don't want it.
Yep. But so then but no, you want this. I'm like, no, I don't.
I'm like, I don't want it. Don't give it to me.
No, don't give it to me. I don't want Also, okay, so yesterday in Champions League, it took a little while, but Manchester City, no surprise, they put the pedal down, knocked off Copenhagen. Copenhagen actually drew even at 1 on a massive thunderbolt, and everyone in Copenhagen was losing their minds. But Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, last time I checked, they're both not bad at their profession. And Kevin De Bruyne still looks like rush end Kevin De Bruyne, where Kevin De Bruyne might have eaten Kevin De Bruyne to get to the size he's currently at as he's still getting into playing shape, but he is still Kevin De Bruyne at the end of the day. He is still ridiculous as a talent. Manchester City won 3-1. Real Madrid won 1-0 at a plus 131 on the road. And so that leads us into today. And it is Lazio, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich on the road at a minus 143. Tommy Tuchel, he is not too cool for school right now. They're in a bit of a world of hurt at Lazio. This one could be interesting. The draws a plus 293. 90-minute draws a plus 293. Lazio is a plus 412. PSG and Real Sociedad. PSG at the Parc des Princes at minus 137. Real Sociedad is a plus 426. I'm not really anticipating a whole lot of surprises today in Champions League.
No, me neither. I think it's going to be fun to watch, though. That's
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yep. Dale says, didn't really know Brahim Diaz until the game from Madrid. Hopefully Red Bull can still have a chance. Lazio need to make the most of the home game. Why, yes, they do. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, and we'll get into all of that today. Remember, tomorrow it is Ian Cameron in the 10 o'clock slot. We'll get the Tormenta perspective on Blast Off Battle. Blast Off Battle will be edited tonight. Blast Off Battle preview. We'll hear from the players as they get ready for the matchups this weekend. So Blast Off Battle preview on the network tonight. And we hear from Ian Cameron 10 o'clock tomorrow before, hopefully, if internet and antennae work, we get to hear from Nico Moreno from Colombia on vacation tomorrow. Let's see. Soccer on TV today. BN, Copa Libertadores at 7:30. Remember, you can get BN, all the BNs, BN Plus, BN in Espanol at Fanatis, ftz.co/soccer down here. Helps them out, helps us out, helps you out to be a true degenerate when it comes to everything that you can watch. You get everything from Peru. You get Libertadores. You get all the BNs. You get TAC, CDO for the fans, Gold TV, all of that stuff all in one place. And all the South American football that you could ever imagine at Fanatis, ftz.co/soccer down here. Once again, today you will have people who will like to watch the early news in their local hometowns on CBS freaking out because PSG and Real Sociedad is at 3 o'clock. Should end about 5. If your local CBS affiliate has a 4 o'clock news, you ain't going to be able to watch it. And people are going to call the local CBS affiliates and go, where's my 4 o'clock news? It's on at 5 o'clock after the soccer's over. What's this you're telling me? Yes. Big CBS as PSG and Real Sociedad at 3 o'clock. On the plus, Millwall. Blank you on Millwall and Ipswich Town. That's at 3 o'clock out of the championship. FS2 has the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza at 8 and 10:15. It is the reverse fixtures. Tigres Vancouver at 8. America and Real Esteli at 10:15. Tuda NA has Champions League Lazio Bayern Munich at 3. They've got Liga MX Atlas and Pumas at 9:30. Unimas is simulcasting Champions League. Fox Soccer Plus has Women's Italian Serie A at 1. Inter and Juve. Paramount Plus has already started Asian Champions League coverage. They have one more match up at 1. 5 matches in the Copa de la Liga in Argentina, 2 at 3, 2 at 5:15, 1 at 7:30. Bologna-Fiorentina at 1, both Champions League matches at 3, and VIX is simulcasting both Champions League and Champions Cup. So that is Lazio is poop, according to Emilio. Dell thought the round of 16 would be more competitive in Champions League. So far, it is not. It is not, sir. Let's see. Before we get into gossip, rumor, and innuendo here, what else is on your mind, and what else have you been searching for?
Oh, I'm getting ready for all the stuff we got going on. Today we got I'm working the men's basketball game for KSU, so if you want to watch that, that's going to be on later.
It's on the plus.
Be on ESPN Plus. I won't be on it. I will be working audio. So everyone who will be sounding great on the broadcast, that'll be me.
There you go.
Then I'm prepping for KSU Lax tomorrow, which is going to
Right.
be a lot of fun. First
Right.
game of the season. That'll also be on ESPN Plus. And then we have, gearing up for Alexander versus Chapel Hill on Friday. That's going to be a lot of fun. Back on
Yep.
the call that with Jason. So a lot of fun stuff. And then Blast Off Battle. It's going to be fun. I'm
Yep.
just, I'm trying to absorb as much information as I can without my brain exploding. And yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. So I'm just,
Good
we're having
luck.
a great time.
Good luck on your head not exploding. That's not going to happen.
Hopefully.
Yeah, Gotham has signed NWSL draftee Macy Bell to a multi-year contract through 2026. Team came out with a statement saying a lot of positive things. Let's see. Inter Miami finalizing the transfer of Federico Redondo from Argentinos Juniors. We talked about that yesterday. Looks like it's $8 million and 15% of the pass. Let's see. I'm not going to talk about that. And let's see. Does it? No. Oh, wow. This is cool. Delta Airlines is paying $1.4 billion in profit-sharing bonuses to its employees today, marking the company's continued financial recovery from the depths of the pandemic. So very, very cool stuff if you fly the red triangle in the air. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Talked about Conor Gallagher yesterday. Newcastle and Arsenal on alert after contract talks between Brentford and Ivan Toney stalled. He's going to be leaving. Thomas Frank knows it. They're just trying to figure out a price point. Brentford have identified Jonathan David as a replacement for Toney should he leave the club at Lille. Manchester United and Spurs pushing hardest to sign Jared Branthwaite from Everton. Chelsea, Arsenal, Real Madrid have all inquired. Argentina midfielder Enzo Fernandez has dismissed speculation he wants to leave Chelsea, says he's very happy there. Manchester City have agreed to the deal on Savio, who's at loan at Girona. From Troy, all three are in the City football group. That's from Fabrizio Romano. Newcastle joined West Ham in the race to sign Genoa's forward Albert Gunmarsson. Arsenal losing patience with Kai Havertz, considering selling him this summer. Bayern Munich have inquired about signing Mykhailo Mudryk on loan. Chelsea had no interest. Newcastle's Dan Ashworth, the top target to replace John Murtaugh once the sale is complete. Newcastle also concerned Ashworth has been unsettled by the speculation, seeking assurances he's committed to the club long term. Thomas Tuchel on Barca's shortlist to succeed Xavi when he steps down at the end of the year. Mbappe's representatives reached out to Liverpool about a move last year. The club did not want to disrupt their entire financial strategy in order to sign him. That's from The Independent. Barcelona cannot afford to appoint Roberto De Zerbi as their new manager because of the finances involved. Portugal's Joao Cancelo, the agent for him, working on a deal to keep him at Barca beyond the end of the year when his loan move at Manchester City ends. Palace have been frustrated in their attempts to persuade Kieran McKenna to leave Ipswich to replace Roy Hodgson. And Toni Kroos has ruled out a move to Bayern Munich, but has hinted he could come out of international retirement to play for Germany again. So that is gossip, rumor, and innuendo. I'm literally feverishly looking for news and things, if anything has broken, say, in the last couple of minutes before we get out of here and before you get into studying and audio and all those other kinds of things. Oh, yeah, David Wagner. I don't know if you saw this. He's currently the head coach at Norwich. And he went after some of his fans who decided that they wanted to yell some less than flattering things when they were trailing Watford before they came back to win. Wagner's decision to substitute two players that included Josh Sargent drew chants of "you don't know what you're doing" from the fans, and Wagner addressed that after the match. He says, I think the players who came on deserved more respect. They shouldn't have heard booing when they came on, and I think I deserved more respect too. We know the target in front of us. We know the chance we've got. We need all the supporters behind us. Hopefully the bigger group can be louder and we don't hear what the small group are saying. I thought it was a big result tonight, obviously, when they came back to win 4-2. So some Norwich fans decided to yell at David Wagner when you were trailing, and then they came back to win. So basically, I think David Wagner could probably stick his thumbs in his ears and go nanny, nanny, boo-boo to those fans that yelled, because his substitution actually worked. You know, you do one of these things, you know, stick your thumbs in your ears and go nanny, nanny, boo-boo and have that work. So, oh, wow. We've really gone over this morning. No real shock there. Tomorrow, once again, we'll catch up with Ian Cameron from South Georgia Tormenta, and we will hear hopefully from Nico Moreno at 10:30, get his views about what's going on, get you ready for everything else that's going on, and get ready for Carrollton and Johns Creek tomorrow night, and get you ready for Blast-Off Battle as well. So, Maddie, are you normal tomorrow? Are you normal, or when do you have your short day?
It is tomorrow.
Okay, so Maddie's on for like half the show tomorrow, so we'll make sure to front load all of Maddie's thoughts before she leaves and heads off to do some Kennesaw Statey kind of thing. So, as always, Maddie, it's great to have you in charge of the ones and twos and keeping us straight and giving everybody else another voice to listen to that's not me or Jarrett, that's probably more of a voice of reason than me or Jarrett. So it's always great to have you on here crashing the morning show.
Thank you. Thank you for always letting me crash it. I don't know if
No.
voice of reason is a, I don't know if that's a good word to use, but hey.
It's all good. Yep, it's all good. All right, so Maddie will be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. You'll be back tomorrow. And Dell, very complimentary as always. It's great to have her. Yes, it is. Because she puts up with us like you have no idea. So for Maddie, for Jarrett, for Nick, for me, I'm just John. Enjoy amateur hour and enjoy the amateur day. Make it a 365-day experience bathed in red and hearts and pinks and things like that. Not just today, but every day. Show the proper appreciation every single day. That should be the reminder for all of us and everyone. Thanks to Rod Underwood for being a part of it as well. I'm sure you get the Chattanooga FC perspective as they get ready for Blast-Off Battle as well. Mucho Plati, I'll play it safe since it's the end of the show. That means I get to do this. We'll be back at it again, 9:05 tomorrow morning, so a little less than 22 hours from now. We'll be back, and it'll be Thursday because today is Wednesday, and Wednesday's ending for us.